Okay, so Deepak, we are going to start your NTRO interview. Fine. So, subjects, please introduce yourself before moving towards the technical subjects.
So, sir, my name is Deepak Kumar. I am from Darbhanga, Bihar. I have done my schooling from Navodaya Vidyalaya. Then I have completed my bachelor in engineering from NSIT Delhi. Now it is NSUT in information technology. Then I did my master's MTech from NIT Durgapur. Then I joined PhD for some months, and then I joined as an assistant professor in Parur University, Vadodara. And then I left that job, and now I'm currently preparing for government exams.
So you just completed your B.Tech and masters from the CSC stream.
Yes, B.Tech from information technology and masters in operations research, basically.
Masters in
operations research. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So can you tell me why you go for NTRO?
So the first thing is that apart from eligibility criteria, I am from technical background, and so I fulfill that criteria, and I want to work for the nations to serve. So that is NTRO is a great platform to work with.
Okay, so moving towards the technical subjects, and so can you just tell me about what is your role in NTRO?
So my role will be gathering informations and help the agency in best possible way in technical assistant, and maybe some maintenance of tools are there, and since though NTRO is a technical gathering intelligence, so maybe I have to work with signal intelligence, communication intelligence, remote gathering, cryptography, cybersecurity, etc.
Okay, so you are talking about the cryptography and cybersecurity. Can you just tell me what do you mean by cryptography?
So crypto means, if you break it, the word, the crypto, it means hidden. And graphy means to deliver the hidden items, data through security purpose, basically, by not showing to the intermediaries.
So if you can define formally, what do you mean by cryptography? Can you just define it?
The branch of science where we send our data in secure way, in hidden way, so that our data integrity, confidentiality maintained, basically.
So can you just define the word threat and risk? What is the differences between threat and risk?
Threat and risk.
Risk.
Okay. So I know
risk, R-I-S-K, risk.
Okay,
one
risk.
Is threat.
Okay.
Yeah, one is threat and second is risk.
Okay, got it. So basically, threat is somewhere where we are already in trouble positions, and we have maybe like in case of cybersecurity attack, like in ransomware is there. So they give us threats by asking some money, monitoring thing that they ask for the in return. So that is a threat that I was they breach our system in any way, and they give us the threat. And risk is something which is before breaching the actual data. So there is a risk that white red black hat hacker can attack our system. So that is a risk to our system.
So Deepak, if I talk about can you know the formal definitions of threat and risk? Because you are just giving informal ways, like you are just delivering a lecture somewhere and you just trying to explain the term threat and risk. So can you tell me if are you able to know what do you mean by threat actually and what is risk in terms of cybersecurity?
Sorry, sir. In formal way, I have no answer.
Yeah, because if we talk about the cybersecurity, almost each and everything have almost the same meaning. Fine, if you are just go with the informal way, but but still there exist some differences. So I think if you have the time, then just go through the simple definitions. Okay. So moving towards the, what do you mean by cross-site scripting?
Cross-site scripting. Sorry, sir, I have no idea.
So, are you know what is IPS, intrusion prevention system?
No, sir.
So, have you prepared the cybersecurity part?
No, sir. Basically, some attack part I have prepared for it.
Can you just tell me about symmetric and asymmetric encryption?
Yes, sir. That I can answer. So basically, in symmetric key, in symmetric cryptography, what happens that there is only one secret key, so that is used for encryption and decryptions. But in asymmetric key, that is also known as public cryptography, where we have two keys, and one is public key and one is for private key. So they use in such a order that if you want to encrypt some message, if we have interpreted with public key, then it will be decrypted by private key, and vice versa in that manner. So that is asymmetric.
Can you just give me some algorithm which are of type symmetric encryption and which are of asymmetric encryption?
So yes, sir. Like symmetric and asymmetric. One is AES.
What is the full form of AES?
A is asymmetric. Sorry, sir. Actually, I have not remembered that. Just I have gone through it, but I just.
What do you mean by hashing?
Hashing is, so basically hashing is a technique, mathematical technique, where we have some data as an input. So we define some mathematical function over that, and then it gives a hash value, which is very unique to it. Like which is unique. A little bit of change in input, it will change in the hash value. So basically, there is a hash function which map input to the output.
So, how you can differentiate hashing and encryption? Hashing and encryption.
So, okay, sir. Encryption can be done in many ways. Hashing is one part of encryption. The tool that is used in encryption. Yes, and encryption is something that there are many methods to encrypt our data. Through image also we can send our data, and there are various methods.
Okay, I think you are not going through all these basic terms. I think so. Just whatever the knowledge you have, you are just delivering that particular knowledge. I think so. Fine. Like if we talk about hashing and encryption, Deepak, so both are the techniques to use to encrypt the data or to convert the data. Fine. But in hashing, we are not again decrypting the data, whereas in encryption, we are using it. Okay. So both are a technique which are used to convert the data, like I can say the readable data in unreadable form.
Yes, sir. It is hashing is a one-way technique, and encryption can be
done. Fine. But in hashing, we are not decrypting the data again.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So can you tell me the use of firewall?
So firewall is basically a software which is used to protect our system from the threat. Threat, from we can say from outside the world, if they want to breach our security.
Can you know the steps how to configure the firewall?
No, sir. Actually, sir, I'm not going through this cyber security part completely. So I'm not
what other subject you like gone through?
Yes, I have prepared for C data structure, computer networks, and basically 3 subjects that I have prepared.
Can you just tell me? I think we have a one 3-way handshaking algorithm or process. Can you just tell me about that? Three-way handshake problem in TCP. Yeah, in TCP.
Okay, sir. So basically, it happened that we have to establish the connection, then we have to do data transfer, and then we have to detach from the connection close, basically.
Okay.
So
So in UDP is we are going to use the three-way handshake protocol.
No, so basically it is a connectionless protocol, which is not used, and it is faster
Great.
than.
Okay, so when we have to use the UDP and when the TCP?
So UDP is used when we have to send our data immediately or faster. I mean, we have very less amount of time, like in domain name servers, where we have very short amount of time, then there we use UDP. And in TCP, if you have time and larger data, then we send.
Can you tell me about the HTTP response ports?
HTTP response, but like port number, sir. Yes.
Not the port number, like we have
Response.
some HTTP request has been completed, like we have some codes.
Okay, sir. So there are two kind of forwarding, sir.
Can you just tell me about the common type of cybersecurity attack?
So basically, it can be like we have malware attack, we have phishing, we have denial of service, we have man in the middle. So these are the type.
What is phishing?
Phishing is like to get your credential by any user ID password by any means, by through mail or any kind of.
And what is DOS?
Here is denial of service. Like we are working on some one system, and at the same time, many outsider, the bombardment of messages are very large, so that our actual server will get down, and that is actually denial of service.
Have you heard about SSL, secure socket layer?
So I have heard, but I
Have you
don't.
know what is that?
No, sir.
What is
Sorry, sir.
black hat hackers? What do you mean by that?
So black hat hackers basically do is without our permission, they breach our system, and in that by their on me, and they demand some monitoring things, and they give threats. So they are unethical, and without our permissions, they are very dangerous to our system.
Okay. So can you just tell me about the differences between classless and classful addressing, or I can say the disadvantage or advantage?
So classful addresses are divided into five parts, and A, B, C, D, E, F. So most of the classful addresses are getting, I mean, they are not used, so they are wasted actually. So this is the disadvantage of main classful address. In classless, we have advantage of it. Whatever we the need, uh, we give the host according to the requirement actually. So
Okay.
in classful, we have like D and E, which is especially for E for reserve for scientific purpose, and for D that is reserved for multitasking. And so they are very much wasted actually in classrooms.
So what is broadcast address?
So broadcast address is when we want to uh, announce a message in a network, like limiting broadcast address. So in a particular network, if we want to give information to every host in that network, so we use limiting broadcast address. One is direct broadcast address. But through our system, if you want to, through our net, we want to use in internal that use limited broadcast service. And if you want to broadcast our message to particular another network, so there in the whole other network, then we use a direct broadcast address.
Okay. So can you just tell me about the limitations of binary search?
Limitation of binary search. Okay. So first is that we need a sorted data. Then we can only apply the binary search. And
So sorry for interrupting. So if I have the an array which is sorted in nature, fine, and I just want to perform a search operations, can I always apply the binary search on that? If I have the input sorted and just want to search something in that.
according to our needs, then we will check, sir, whether we are whatever the search element is there. So according to our need, we can also go directly, or sometimes we need actually binary search.
It means you are saying that sometimes we are unable to apply the binary search on a sorted array if my task is to search something. Can I
No, we can, no, sir, we
conclude?
can, no, sir, we can always apply a binary search on sorted item. But the thing is that if something is not there, then we not, sorry, sir. So, I don't have a right answer, exactly. But we can apply a binary search on sorted.
Okay, so I'll give you a problem. Like we have n numbers, and n minus one numbers are distinct in nature, and only one number which is repeated one more time. Like one number came two times, and another numbers that is n minus two elements are distinct in nature. Fine. Like
Yes,
if I'll just go with the number or input, I can say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and then I have 90 and 90. So I can say 90 is the repeated one. Fine. So I want to just search an element which is repeated in nature. So how I can go with that, because the input is shorter. How much time it will take?
Okay, sir. So we can one method is to just check the next element is equal to the current element.
That is linear search.
That
That
is
is
linear
linear.
search. That's order of n.
Okay.
Order of n.
So can we optimize this problem?
Okay, one element is coming three times. To get that particular element,
I just want the repeated one.
okay, sort and that element will vanish. I mean, sorry, sir, I have no other answer.
So if you want to just try to apply the binary search, maybe you will get your answer. After finding the middle element, now like the middle element is the 50, okay?
Okay, sir.
Now where you have to go? Either you have to go on the left or right.
The middle
Are you able
element
to
is,
make a decision?
yes, no, sir, we can't make a decision at that time.
Yeah, that's the main point.
Mhm.
That is the limitation of binary search. We cannot say that if input is sorted and what asked to search anything, then always we can able to apply the binary search. Fine,
Mhm.
fine, right.
Yes, sir.
So are you can you tell me? I just find out the peak element. Also, I can define the peak element is like the first the input is in ascending order, and after some point of time my input start in descending.
Mhm.
Fine. So I just want the one the which is the largest, the bigger number. That is my peak number.
Mhm.
Like if my input is like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and
Mhm.
then it start decreasing like 48, 47, 35, 30. So
Mhm.
50 is my answer. So how much
Mhm.
time it will take?
So peak element is which is I want to ask, sir, what is the peak element? It is
Peak
greater than
element
the
here is
right
the
of sir.
50. Yeah, peak element is the 50, 50th
Oh,
one in this
okay, I mean the
array.
largest number.
Yeah, you can say like that.
Okay, so in array, peak element is the largest element, and
Yeah.
so then what we have to find, sir?
So we have to find out the peak element.
So we just have to just make a loop. We will initialize any start of the elements of the maximum element. Let's say it's maximum, and we will compare it throughout the uh, array, and we will see search the
So how
maximum.
much time it will take?
So it will. Okay, sir. Just give me a second. To get a maximum element from array, we will need order of n time. But you said, sir,
So
it
can
is
you
ascending and descending in that way. Oh, sorry, sir. So that is the only way I can recall it.
can we apply binary search?
So, sir, we can't apply binary search because it is not sorted.
It is sorted now.
So you said, sir, the first half is ascending and then descending.
First after is yeah, that's why now it is sorted.
So at which position the peak element is present. We don't know actually from where.
You just apply the binary search there. Fine. You can find out the answer within login time. Fine. Keep in mind. Just go and watch the solution of this particular problem. This is a standard problem. Recently, this problem asked in the BARC interview.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So you may face because you have some experiences you have already done and are you a bit comfortable with your project part?
Yes, sir.
Fine. As we already discussed your project part. So fine. So okay. So fine. So moving towards your the feedback part. So I think in terms of if you want to prepare and if you have the time, just go through the standard definitions of cybersecurity, different types of attack, different types of encryption algorithm. At least you have like as you
Recording in progress.
as you completed your masters, so it is mandatory that you have to know some basics idea about the encryption and decryption algorithm, some cryptography part. Fine.
Yes, sir.
They may expect from you and be strong with your project. Fine.
Yes, sir.
And other than that, if we talk about the basics of CN, you are a bit comfortable, I think so, but still you require the improvement in data structure part. As you haven't the time, tomorrow is your, I think, interview. Fine.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Am
sir.
I right?
Actually, sir,
Fine.
yes, sir. So thing is, sir, there are two interviews. I have from qualified for both aviator and technical assistant. So
Yeah,
apart
yeah,
from
yeah.
that, I didn't get any information online of aviator too. So, sir, right now I don't have time. Even I asked already, sir, to with respect to aviator too, what I need to think. I don't have time,
Yeah, that's the
but
main
what
reason.
the
So when you
anyway
get
you
the
can
interview call, like when you
on
inform that
third
you,
on 3rd of June, sir.
but
And
still
I
you have
researched.
time, na?
So I went through the subject, but I didn't know the interview section of this kind of platform. I went to online, then I saw that video. That's why
Okay.
I was late. But anyway, but the thing is, there is nowhere I can get the information or experience of the art tool. What can they ask?
Okay. No, just they can ask you from the simple thing, the same thing. They don't expect much from that area. Fine.
Yes, the thing is that in that avatar tool, all the branches of mechanical, electrical, all are is eligible. Sir.
Yeah, yeah, that's the point. But
So,
still,
and it is
they
regarding
they
aviation
just ask
technology.
you the question later to your own branch only. Fine.
Okay.
Fine. So okay with that. So I'll just end up the session and good luck for your interview.
Okay.
Fine, Deepak.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, dear.
Sir.